So here's a quote from page 4. Quote, "It's easy to look outward for reasons, maybe for excuses, for surely the world is a messy, complicated place, and the need to change will always be with us. But let me also posit, gently, with respect, that in this historical moment, we ourselves may be in the way of the change we seek. Why? Because we are firmly embedded, cognitively, socially, emotionally, praxically, musically, in ideas, structures, and realities we already know, and to shake ourselves loose from those structures will take concentrated, persistent effort." End quote. A little bit further down on that page, quote, "To imagine an unknown is challenging, and the future is certainly unknown. As difficult as it may be, though, we should imagine possible futures, and we should do so while also admitting to ourselves two things. First, we have little to no idea about what the future will be. Remember, we knew nothing of YouTube 13 years ago. And second, to paraphrase cultural anthropologist Clifford Geertz, who is paraphrasing sociologist Max Weber, we are caught in webs of significance that we ourselves have spun. The structures we have built, the codes, the signs, the stories, the narratives, the discourses that we share and know so well also constrain the change we seek." End quote. Now, for context, this was written in 2017 and presented in 2017, so that's why the dates are a little off with YouTube. This part really made me reflect a bit. So when looking at this and was thinking, okay, well, in what way am I stuck in the past? In what way am I not evolving? And that for me is kind of like a difficult question to think through because I constantly engage in reflection practices. Like you may have heard in some of the interviews that I've done that I will reflect in the mornings and the evenings, and I will just constantly think of like how to evolve as a human being in ways that I think would benefit me and people around me in the world, etc. And when I think about all the experiences that I've had in education that have led to this, yes, it's a variegated, multi-perspectival approach in terms of I am from music education, professionally speaking. All my degrees are in that. And then I became a band and general music and percussion director. And then I moved into like a technology role where I was teaching coding to kids. And then I went in and I did professional development, created professional development, and created curriculum that's used by students and teachers all around the world. Had all these like really different experiences and whatnot, but I am still stuck in specific narratives and codes and ways of understanding that are related to how I was brought up through education, not only as a student, but also as an educator or as a facilitator. So all of these things kind of like impact the ways that I view the world of education and therefore impact what I see as possible futures for the field, for myself as an educator, and for the students that I work with. This is beneficial in that I have this like gestalt to build off of. However, it is also problematic because I am not able to see things that are outside of this like narrow scope of view that I've had in the world of education. Again, even though that I have had a variety of experiences that most teachers don't have, who might only teach one subject area, it's still a very limiting and very narrow perspective to go off of. Which is why when I do these Unpacking Scholarship episodes, I have pulled in some scholarship, not only from like sociology, but also from like sports psychology, like the episode that I did on K. Anders Ericsson's paper, which the paper is titled The Role of Deliberate Practice in the Acquisition of Expert Performance. If you want to check out that particular episode, released in January of 2021. But it's also why I look at like more familiar domains for myself, like music education, like in this particular keynote that I'm reading off, but then also some more relevant domains like maker culture and maker spaces, etc. So you'll find a bunch of different podcast episodes that pull in all these different perspectives to try and look at this idea, this field, this domain from different angles, different lenses, different perspectives in order to better understand some different ways that we might be able to help the people that we're working with, whether it's teachers or students or whomever. But all of that starts with first realizing that we have some things to look at and to reflect upon to really understand where we've come from. And if you want to hear the rest of this particular podcast episode, make sure you check out the CSK8 podcast by searching for it on any major platform or simply going to jaredoleary.com/CSK8. At the moment, there are over 160 episodes with some interviews with some awesome people and some solo episodes like this where I unpack scholarship in relation to computer science education.